Neville and Jemima, I'd like to thank everyone again who's made today possible. Margot and the rest of the family, Jemima's parents, Clive and Lindsay, the bridesmaids, who've worked hard and still look beautiful. Woo! And the groomsmen, who have worked hard and look great too. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here and for making this such a special day. Neville has been my best friend for 20 years. I'd like to take the opportunity to say a few words, maybe share a couple of stories. I assure you they are 100% accurate. Nev is without a doubt one of the funniest people I've ever met. In St. Helens Primary School, I had the privilege of performing with Nev for the end of school play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Classic. He stole the show in one of Shakespeare's great comedic roles, Bottom. The lovable, bumbling idiot. For those of you not familiar with the play, Bottom meets a beautiful queen, and against all the odds, she falls madly in love with him. I'd like to start by talking about another great passion of Nev's, apart from Jemima, mathematics. From his time studying at Durham University to his career as an actuary and later a teacher, it's fair to say that maths is an important part of Nev's life. However, having known Nev for so long, I believe that there is one event in particular which was absolutely instrumental in his ascent to becoming a mathematical titan sitting before us today. You see, I remember Nev at 12 years old when he was nothing more than a top set struggler. He was barely getting by on a 25% extra time afforded to him. After the end of year exams, when Nev forgot to bring his calculator for the final test, his tenure in a top set hung by a string. It seemed like it would take a miracle to save him. But after a late night Tato binge, likely brought about by the dread of being kicked out of Mr. Chirby's class, Nev's weight ballooned. And the next day he broke right through his chair. It snapped like a twig. For Chirby, that was the last straw. Nev was hauled out of class and dumped into one of the 4 bottom sets. We'd all heard the stories about them. They were grim. Just ask Gormy and Luck. They were stuck down there for 5 years. 7 in Gormy's case. After a week, the lessons on simple addition and the smell of burning car tyres became too much for Nev. And he vowed to drag himself out of the slag. For 6 months, Nev spent every break time, every lunch, every single day after school studying maths, until finally he was welcomed back into the top set and given a new chair. He has carried that kind of work ethic. When we hit sixth form, Nev and I were always thinking of ways we could get more UCAS points. Higher education. We just had our Duke Venable Awards. When Nev hatched a great idea, we were going to start our own debate team and enter public speaking competitions. He managed to recruit 6 of us, top lads. We only had one practice session, but we'd chosen topics which we all agreed were pretty solid. We were feeling confident. And it was only on the evening of the debate that the cracks started to show. It was our good friend Ben Smith, who sadly cannot be with us today. He's not dead, he's somewhere else. It was our friend Ben Smith who first started feeling the nerves. By the time the car rolled up to the private boys' school, where we were supposed to be competing, he'd been sick twice, and so was the pants. 100% true. We walked through the clean carpeted hallway of the school entrance, past the polished glass cabinets laden with trophies for things like fencing and dressage. It might have been the first time in our young lives that we became conscious of our own grubby uniform, with the faint grass stains on our knees and a tiny knot of our ties, freshly peanut. It's going to take a lot longer if you keep on laughing. Eventually, we emerged into the kind of room that's usually called a chamber, filled with books and sliding staircases. Basically, Dumbledore's office. Long story short, the debate was an absolute disaster. Whilst the other teams, impeccably presented, talked about things like 19th century literary realism, we mumbled for about 5 minutes of why football was better than homework. Nev looked especially ill at ease, since it was him who would have to answer to everyone for bringing us there. It was a humiliating experience, an absolute disaster. The mayor, with his great big charm bracelet necklace, stood up at the end to congratulate participants. He was lavish in his praise for the private school teams. He decided to throw us a couple of crumbs of his hat. Presentation is essential, boys. You have to look the part. You have to act the part. One thing, never put your hands in your pockets. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw one boy. Look, he's doing it now! Every set of eyes in the chamber turned to where the mayor was pointing. And there was Nev, sitting alone, busy feeding himself up from his pocket. Miss Margot, I would not be crass. But I say to you, Margot, it's your son. Looking back at that time and that story, I don't think there's anyone Nev wouldn't have swapped places with at that moment. Even Ben. Sitting there in the tiny running shorts he wore. Those of you who know Nev well know that he has a passion for music. When we were 16 years old, we formed our first band, Kamikaze Cream Cake. We gig around bars and small venues in London, performing our special brand of folk rap. The height of Nev's music career was when one of our tracks played on BBC Radio 1. During our first year at uni, it was a great moment for Nev. Marred only slightly by the fact that the song's lyrics focused largely on the sensitive subject of sexually transmitted diseases. I've taken the time to jot down some of his lyrics. I think I know him from heart, actually. A song by Neil Denny. Autobiographical. About himself. No, it can't have been, because we were 20 years old and I said sexually transmitted. She said she's leaving because I was too brash. But the real reason's because I gave her that rash. I caught it off you before you caught it off me. She said she's leaving because the sex was whack. Well, baby, ain't nothing wrong with that. Nev has always had an incredible talent for lyrics and songwriting, and for integrating lyrical content that reflected his own life experience. Here's a song from Nev's song, Matilda, where he laments the breakdown of a relationship with an ex-girlfriend who's gone off the rails. Way too mixed up, she mixed up a potion. I like to keep my shit split up like a quotient. I like to keep my head full of at least a notion, but she wore me down like her name was erosion. Nev may have a gift for words. Unfortunately, that gift does not always translate well to other forms of musical awareness. The second band, the members of which are all here today, including myself, Murray, Luck, and when he felt like it, Dave McCann. It was called the 9 Inch Males. It was called 9 Inch Males. And I can safely say that man there invested every inch of himself. Sorry, Mark. In a relatively short time, we built up a solid set list, influenced largely by British indie bands. After a string of successful warm-up shows, the band was booked for a Friday night gig at the Hermit, Brentwood's premier rock venue. It was sold out that night, packed to the brim with 16-year-olds in eyeliner and MySpace hair. Emo was the flavour of the day. But we were sticking to our principles and stepped up onto the stage wearing buttoned-up polo shirts and dirty swagger. The first song went well. The people were up on their feet. I turned to Nev, all my nerves forgotten, and he looked at me. Gave me a little wink, as if to say, yeah, this is our time. The second song starts up, a cover of Last Night by The Strokes, classic. More feet pick themselves up and rush to the dance floor. Lucky striking the chords, building up the energy of the room. Murray's playing, with his amp switched off as usual. Dave couldn't make it, but someone else is playing the drums really well, so it's fine. And at the centre of it all, there's Nev. Back to the audience, just making the way. And they're loving it. The song's building up towards the iconic first line. Everyone is on their feet, and then nothing. Nev has completely missed his cue. It takes him about 10 seconds to snap out his trance. And then he leaps over to the mic, starting from the beginning, completely out of sync. Not only with the song, but with any music I've ever heard. And that's how it goes for the rest of the song. By the end, the dance floor was empty. And a few boys at the back start heckling him, who by that time was in no mood. Standing at the edge of the stage, Nev lifted the mic to his mouth and told everyone in the audience, all your mums are whores. Songs to go. It was excruciating. I told Jemima earlier that during my speech I might be dropping a bombshell. This is that moment, Jemima. At this point, I feel obligated to point out that this is not Neville's first marriage. On the 20th of April 1999, he was wed in St. Helens Playground to Helen Bruce, a direct descendant of Robert. At the tender age of 11, they read each other their marriage vows. And in front of every one of the Year 6 prefects, they tied a knot. It was the social highlight of the year. And there was even a slice of scandal when Nev reportedly tried to kiss Kylie's shit after drinking too much Dr. Poivre. Though the legality of the ceremony is questionable, we will always have proof that it happened from the reels of imaginary film taken by the official wedding photographers. Neville, I'm no fortune teller, but something tells me that unlike your first marriage, married life to Jemima will be filled with joy and harmony, and last more than 6.5 days. Nev and Jem's relationship, as mentioned before, started in a very modern way, through Tinder dating. Little did Nev know, when he swiped right all those years ago, that he would be sitting here today, marrying the girl of his dreams. I remember asking Nev how his first date with Jemima went. He said that she was beautiful, but that it was their shared interest of Star Wars character Jar Jar Binks. And the 5 hours they spent walking through London, talking non-stop, that made him desperate to see her again. These are two people who have found something we all hope to share in our lives. A unique and deep connection. I'm honoured to be here today to witness their marriage. and the beginning of this new journey together. Please join me in raising your glasses for a toast. To Neville and Jemima Dennis.